Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Juan's. Well, I'm not going to cook for you today. You can always tell when you see my smiling face that I'm not going to give you a recipe. I didn't do a lot of very adventurous cooking over the weekend because I've been exceptionally busy. I have been editing a book under contract, and that was hard enough. But then on Friday, I got the news that another one of my books will be under contract. And I had to do some extra editing and send some notes off about that. And then another one of my books, which needs a collaborator to help me with, got to the point where my collaborator was writing to me, and so like the whole weekend was just full of editing and stuff. Not stuff I enjoyed doing, but it kept me busy, and I had to mostly eat leftovers, which was also important because my freezer was getting really full and I wanted to clean that out, so I thawed out a lot of dishes in there. Very important if you live alone to make fairly substantial quantities of things that you enjoy, but not then eat them for a week. You know, like I really enjoyed at one time making soups. Don't so much anymore because in the tropics it's very hard to make a complex soup because it's so hot. And then to sit and eat that soup for a week is really tedious. So what I used to do is make big batches of, let's say, a bean soup or pasta e fagioli or lentil soup or something like that, and then freeze most of it. Well, I've been doing that for a while, and if you're lazy, then your freezer just fills up with stuff. So once in a while you have to say, okay, let's clean out. So that's what I did over the weekend. I didn't make anything new. I just emptied out the freezer as much as I could. And now I'm back on track with my freezer, and I'm also getting up a pretty strong head of steam with my editing. So what I decided I want to talk about today is a philosophical, abstract question, which I'm going to ask myself, but I'm also going to ask you. I'll ask myself first, like, why do I do the things that I do? And you could ask yourself the same question, why do you do the things that you do? Well, maybe a lot of them are involved with making money because you need to pay the rent and pay the bills and eat and all those kinds of things. I don't have to do that. I'm retired. I have a substantial nest egg. I also have a good pension that more than adequately covers all of my essential needs. It allows me also to travel whenever I want, and if there's no virus, which there of course is now, so my nest egg is piling up, but I don't need to work. So I could do what some people do, play tennis, golf, whatever all the time. Well, I don't like those things. What I like to do is I like to teach. And this goes back to something I was talking about a year ago when I was talking about vocation. And I'll put some links below or somewhere so that you can find them and go back to them. I'm a teacher. I like to talk. I like to write. So I like to make videos. And I don't really care if nobody watches them. I mean, there's a sort of narcissistic part. I would love it if 1 million people watch my videos, but if one person watches them, I'm happy. I'm happy doing what I enjoy doing. And I think it also keeps my my brain active, staves off dementia, Alzheimer's, what have you. It serves all kinds of purposes. So that's what I want to talk about. And I want to ask you the same question. Why are you doing the things that you are doing? Let's start with the second question first. Why are you doing what you're doing? And let me add a proviso here. I'm not going to give you any advice. I'm not going to say, well, stop doing that because it's obviously useless or whatever. That's not the point of my little talk here. What I just want to do is put a seed in your mind to ask yourself, why do I do this? I had to ask myself on Saturday, why do I mop the floors once a week? Because I didn't have time to do it. And there is a clear answer, that is, if I don't mop the floors at least once a week, sometimes more than once a week, then the dust just builds up and it gets everywhere, and it'll even get in my food. I have to do it, but I couldn't do it on Saturday. I mean, I could have, but I didn't, because I just had so many other things to do. And then this morning, and today is Monday, it'll be Tuesday when this airs, but it's Monday right now, I still ended up mopping the floors because they were covered in dust and I had to do it. I mean, I tried to just mop. I mean, just use a dustpan and broom. It didn't work. I had to get out the broom and mop and do everything. So one way or another, there are certain things that I have to do, even if I don't like doing them. And I could, of course, pay somebody to do it. I don't like that either. I've lived in many, many places over the last 10 years where I've had routine maid service. When I lived in an apartment in Argentina, it came with a maid. When I lived in Myanmar, I lived in a hotel where they cleaned and did everything once a day. I had a cleaning person in China, but then in Italy, decided to do it myself, and it worked out okay. And here it's okay. And the reason I don't like it is I don't like being disturbed. I'm happy to have somebody else do it because they do it better than I do, and they, I mean, I don't know whether they enjoy it or not, but they get paid for it, and it helps the economy in that respect. So it's all doing good work one way or another, but I don't like being disturbed. So I'm torn between paying somebody to do it and getting it done, but being disturbed, or doing it myself, and then I can do it in my own time and as I feel like it, and I balance the two. And that's, I think, the message clearly for just about everything, is that life is a balancing act. And right now, the balancing act, which also includes the virus, is that I can't travel anywhere. But I don't want to do nothing. Doing nothing would drive me crazy. So I work on my books, I work on my videos, I work on my blogs, I work on a number of different things because I enjoy them. I don't enjoy everything about them. There's parts of writing books that I absolutely hate. And the editing that I'm doing right now, I despise it. Looking up references, making sure that everything is done correctly, reworking a chapter because a reviewer doesn't like it, changing the vocabulary because a reviewer doesn't like it. And it's like, oh, that just drives me up the wall. But I do it because the finished product will be better, and that's what I'm looking towards. I'm looking towards producing something that I'll be proud of in the long run. So, and you can take anything, living in an apartment, writing a book, what have you. There are going to be parts of it that you don't like and parts of it that you really enjoy, and you just have to balance them up, because the sum total is pleasurable. Now, I'm not an awfully organized person, never have been, although I'm better now than I was. And it's very strange because I have literally nothing I have to do, and so I don't have to be organized at all. I, in fact, sleep when I want to. If I feel tired at 2 in the afternoon, I go to bed. If I feel like working at 1 o'clock in the morning, as I did this morning, in fact, then I work at 1 o'clock in the morning. In fact, I worked from 1 to 6 this morning, and then I went to bed for a couple of hours, and then I went out for a walk. I cook when I want to. Like, everything I do when I want to. So I don't have to be organized at all. But I choose to be, and for many years now I've had a to-do list. There are many YouTube self-help videos that will say, don't have a to-do list because you never will do the things on it. And I mean, I just don't listen to people like that, because I have a to-do list in order to feel good about myself. If I write out what I have to do today in a list, and then I check off each thing as I do it, it makes me feel good. Even if what's on the list is things like brushing my teeth, I still put it on there. So I have here an example from and I'll just show you. You probably can't really read it, doesn't matter. The top is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way to Sunday. And then I have 2 sets of dates because I do it in a 2-week period, mostly to save paper. Then down here, I have all the things I want to do. They include working on my manuscripts, doing videos, going for a walk or a bicycle ride, checking my blood pressure, which I do every day because I used to have to be on medication for high blood pressure. I don't have to anymore, but I check my blood pressure every day just to make sure that it stays within bounds. And then other things, I won't go into it. One of them, the bottom, is Khmer lessons. And every time I do something, I've completed it, then I check. And then I fill up the whole thing, and when I've done 2 weeks, then I write a new one. And it makes me just happy that every day is, the check marks are all done. But it also just keeps me organized in general. And it keeps me balanced so that I don't just spend all day, every day, editing and not doing other things, or forgetting that I need to get out of the apartment and go for a walk every day. It's very easy to do that if you get caught up in writing on a book or even doing videos. It's just easy to forget. And sometimes I have forgotten, and it doesn't feel bad until I go out. And then when I go out, I say, oh yeah, I remember outside. It's big, isn't it? And it's nice, and the air is nice most of the time, and so forth. So that's that's how I structure a life that has no intrinsic structure. You know, I don't have a job. I don't have to be anywhere at any time. I don't have any people that I am responsible for or who need my help. None of that. I'm completely alone, completely at my own resources. So I can answer the question fully why I do the things I do because they make me happy. And that's my goal. My goal is to be happy. My goal is to enjoy my life. And I do. So now turn the spotlight on you. Why do you do the things that you do? Do you work yourself to the bone 6 days a week, 50 weeks a year, so that for 2 weeks of the year you can enjoy yourself? Maybe you do. Or maybe you work yourself to the bone because you want a big car or a nice house or whatever. I'm not going to judge. I mean, I appreciate that some people get happiness out of that. I've known many people in my days who think that having a beautiful house, being able to invite people and have parties and dinners and festive activities in the house, they think that's wonderful. I have a very, very old dear friend for whom that is the pinnacle of life. So I'm not judging, but it's not me. I don't want that. I'm happy to put a minimal amount of effort into keeping my apartment clean and to pay rent so that I don't have to worry about being stuck in one place. If I want to move, I can move. I don't have to sell a house. I mean, that's just, I think, at my age, catastrophic to be stuck in one place because I own a house. I know all of my investment is locked into that house. It's much better to sell the house, have the money, and be able to move, even though I am to some extent beholden to a landlord. But you know, let's say, touch wood, I don't even know whether there's any wood. You know, my landlords so far, in every place I've been for the last 8 years, in fact, have all been sterling people, and they've always fixed everything straight away and always been, you know, very responsive. It's great. It's great. So if anything breaks, call them up, they come and fix it, and I don't pay anything for it. So I am free of responsibility. I don't have a car. I don't have to worry about not only the expense, but is it going to break down? Do I need to change the oil? Don't have to worry about any of that. My bicycle is my trusty friend. So just in sum, what I'd like you to do is to look at your life and say, is it satisfying? Am I doing, on average, the things that make me happy? Now, I've told you that not everything makes me happy, but on balance, I live a happy life. Is that true for you too? And if it isn't, what can you change? Of course, that's a very, very difficult question to answer. But it's also the question that I have to ask myself all the time. Because it's not just a matter of saying, okay, my little to-do matrix, that's okay for now, but it changes. If you look at my matrix from 2 years ago, it's completely different. You know, that I do have to keep making adjustments, and I do have to keep actively thinking, is this the best way for me to be right now? Am I living in the best place? Am I living in the best country? Am I doing it right? Should I be doing things in a different kind of balance. Should I be doing more videos, less videos, more blogs, more writing, more travel? Yeah, more travel, but I can't travel right now. And so when there are roadblocks like that, like I haven't been able to travel all year, what can I do to compensate? All right, well, that's all very general, and there is an important question in there, and you can't answer to me because I don't allow comments, but you can answer to yourself. And meanwhile, tell all of your friends, please like, subscribe, and I will see you again on Friday.